Um, Gently open your eyes. Thank you, friends. Today, we will start again from shlok number 13, which is talking about the dissipated Vayu in the region of Kapha. So here, Kapha koshte yada Vayur granthi bhutva vatistate हृत्का स हिक्का श्वासस्य शीरः शूलादयोरुजाः जायन्ते धातु वैषम्य तदा कुर्यात् प्रतिक्रियाम्. When the vayu is accumulated in the region of phlegm, now we have already understood that the region of phlegm is above the navel region on the chest. So when the vayu is accumulated in this region, diseases related to cardiac asthma. Cardiac asthma is related to your chest cavity, which is related to your lungs, which is related to the accumulation of, you can say, phlegmatic layer in the windpipe. Constriction of the windpipe takes place. You are not able to breathe properly. And then he goes on to say that a person experiences hiccups, ichkia. Then there is bronchial asthma, which is somewhat like infection. Because of infection, there is a congestion in your chest. And along with all this thing, Shirah Shul Adayoho, headache developed because of the disturbances of the humors, the three doshas. As we were studying in the last class, according to the Western psychology, there are four types of humor: the blood, the phlegm, and the third one is yellow bile, and the fourth one is black bile. But in case of our Eastern medicine, you will find that the three doshas are only the three humors which has been spoken about. And these are Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So here, cardiac asthma, hiccup, asthma, bronchial asthma, headache are going to be experienced because of the disturbance of the humors, because of the vayu becoming dissipated in the region of phlegm. Then what should one do? One should be taking suitable treatment for that. He says, after eating sufficient food and thereafter rinsing the mouth, samyak bhojanam उपस्पृश्य तदंतरम कुंभक धारणम कुर्याद द्वित्रिवारम विचक्षणः. ये एक्सप्लेन करने से पहले भी उन्होंने बताया था कि स्निग्ध आहार लेना है. यू आर सपोज टू ईट lubricated food which will take care of the colic which is produced by the disturbance of vata and pitta. Here he is saying after eating sufficient food, one should rinse the mouth. It is very clearly understood as the cleansing of the oral cavity, because after having food, because of the mucus slimy nature of the mouth and the throat region, he says that one should regularly perform gargling. One should perform the rinsing of the mouth. And once that rinsing of the mouth is done, he should practice kumbhaka. Now you may be wondering, you will say, sir, ये खाना खाने के बाद करना है? So let me make it very clear. You are eating mitahar, and after having mitahar, you are going ahead and after that period of almost 2.5 hours to 3.5 hours, where the digestion process has been completed, after that only you are going ahead and performing Kumbhaka. And he says, perform such kind of Kumbhaka twice or thrice. We have understood the performance of Kumbhaka taking place 4 times a day. He expects us to do at least twice or thrice. So, a person who is having asthmatic issues, disturbance of humors, in the first place, is that person able to do Kumbhaka? Will he be able to retain the breath? Now, this is a very challenging situation here. After making sure that that person is not feeling hungry and having eaten right amount of food and cleansed his mouth, one should go for the performance of breath regulation, where the retention of the breath either in or out is given importance. Out, though we have not studied in this text, but at the same time, somewhere breath holding, and that too in an automatic manner, is suggested. So, what is automatic retention? One should feel doing of the Kumbhaka in Sahaj manner. Sahaj means it should be done in a very gentle, normal flow. सांस लिया, क्षमता के अनुसार सांस रोका, सांस छोड़ दिया, क्षमता के अनुसार सांस को बाहर रोक दिया. So this Kumbhaka is delaying the performance of inhalation and exhalation, and in this delay, there are the changes in the Vayu which is stuck or in a dissipated form in the chest region, the region of the phlegm. And you will find that the things are settling down because this will bring about that kind of change. Frankly speaking, Swatmaramji is not clear here actually what is to be done. He suggests pranayam. He suggests Kumbhaka. And that too in a case where the problem is there in the chest. Frankly telling you, in our daily routine, when we deal with such kind of cases, we just make them to do Vakshya that is chest breathing or thoracic breathing, where intentionally that person inhales, expands the chest, and then he exhales, allows the chest to come back to its normal position. This is like exercising of the intercostal muscle and the diaphragm, which brings about a kind of pressure on the lungs, because when the chest expands, because of that pressure, the lungs are getting pulled towards the dome, or you can say the expansion of the chest. And when the chest relaxes, the lungs are also coming to a position where the retraction takes place and the exhalation happens. This itself is enough for an asthmatic patient, because that person is literally trying to do the exercise of the muscles of the chest cavity, you can say, where the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm is getting exercised. When we talk about intercostal muscles, when we will be doing the anatomy and physiology, we will be learning more. If imagine these are my right side ribs and these are my left side ribs, the rib cage. There are total 12 pairs, right from connection to the collarbone to the false ribs which are down. There are 12 pairs of ribs. These ribs, they have intercostal muscles. अभी समझो कि ये ribs है, तो इसके बाहर एक layer है उसको कहा जाता है एक्सटर्नल इंटरकोस्टल मसल, और एक अंदर की तरफ लेयर होता है which is known as internal intercostal muscles. So when the chest expands, the external intercostal muscle is doing some activity, and when it comes down to relax, the internal intercostal muscles is doing some activity. तो सोचिए कि ये दोनों रिब्स के बीच वाले जो मसल्स हैं वो हमारे इंटेंशनल वक्ष्य श्वसन की वजह से जो कार्य कर रहे हैं, उससे जो वायु का डिसिपेशन जो हुआ है फ्लेग्मेटिक रीजन में, उसको एक प्रकार का मूवमेंट मिलता है, एक प्रकार का डायरेक्शन मिलता है, और वो बैलेंसिंग की स्थिति में आने लगता है. दैट स्लोली स्लोली कम्स बैक टू द बैलेंसिंग नेचर. अब शायद हो सकता है इसी को स्वात्माराम जी ने कहा होगा कि भाई कुंभक करो आप, बट एट द सेम टाइम a person who is already having asthma, he is already facing difficulty in exhaling out. Exercise is induced breathing, and when we are doing kumbhaka, we may be doing inhalation, retention, and exhalation. But an asthmatic patient, once he retains the breath, is not able to exhale out properly, and that is the reason that he cannot inhale again. तो अब आप सोचो, क्या हमको उसको प्राणायाम कराना चाहिए? आज के डेट के सिनेरियो में तो बिल्कुल नहीं. One should refrain from doing such kind of pranayamic practices. Rather, we can do thoracic breathing, which is like an exercise for the lungs. So somewhere this is to be understood in a proper manner. And then he goes on to say, yes, sir, I will come back to you. And and he goes on to say, evam shwasadayo rogaha shamyanti kapha pitta jaha. By doing this, diseases like asthma, which are caused by the disturbance of the kapha and pitta, are ameliorated or are taken care of. ये बताने के लिए तो ठीक है, but at the same time, what Swatmaram ji really intends us to do is not clear here. So we will limit ourselves to only thoracic breathing and not go for any kind of kumbhaka. So that is the most important thing which I wanted you to understand. Yes, Ashutosh sir, please.
When you say kumbhaka, is it always to be understood as part of pranayama?
Yes.
Okay.
Because kumbhaka is the most important section of pranayama. Kumbhaka itself means where you are retaining the breath. Kumbha. Kumbha means like the vessel. Now this body itself, which kumbha is a vessel or a container which retains in it something, some object.
Do yogic breathing. My connectivity is not there. Are you able to?
No, his connection is, he lost his connection.
Sabir bhai lost his connection, is it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Sabir Pai said it's electricity issue. Or so he lost power.
Yeah, I think he'll join in through the phone. That's what he has said.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yes, Ashutosh sir.
Yes. Yeah. So I was saying that.
1 second, 1 second. Yes, please tell me.
So I was saying that if the word Kumbhaka means pranayam, and Swatmaram he has used the word Kumbhaka there.
Yes.
So then I have not understood why you are saying that we should not do this.
See, a Kumbhaka retention of the breath itself is going to be a contraindicated factor for a person who is having chest problems. He says cardiac asthma. He talks about bronchial asthma. He talks about headache. All these are the contraindications in case of a person who is supposed to practice pranayama or a kumbhaka. So literally we say, if you are having these issues, it is better that you perform
inhalation and exhalation, Puraka and Rechaka, but not Kumbhaka. When Swatmaram ji says this, maybe Swatmaram ji is not clear with what he wants to say in the form of the shloka to bring it to our notice, where he says that after having proper meal, an individual should go for the practice of performing kumbhaka, that too twice or thrice in a day. So performing kumbhaka may be any kumbhaka, whether it is Surya Vedan, whether it is Ujjayi, whether it is Brahmari, whether it may be Bhastrika also. But at the same time, these are not the things which are supposed to be done by a patient who is already going through this issue. So here, the things are, you can say, as I told you, as you are asking this question, why he might have said this. He should have understood this. But this is the unanswered confusion. To be very clear and frank. Yeah. So that is the reason I gave you the understanding. In case of an asthmatic person, we train that person to do chest exercise so that the constriction of the passage of the what you can say windpipe is somewhat helping him to have some more oxygen and feel better. So one thing may be that he may not be talking about a chronic or acute case. ऐसा भी हो सकता है. He may be talking about a person who is not under the impact of acute or chronic issue, but he may be, because of the atmospheric changes, environmental changes, experiencing such problems. So he may be having that thing also in the mind. ऐसे भी हो सकता है. So this is the question where we have to be very careful. In fact, as a therapist, I will never advise anyone to do all these things. It is better to be preventive rather than going ahead and becoming more treating there rather than going with that. So I will say it is better you learn to know how you are focusing on your breathing and allowing your breaths to happen first. That itself is very important. I hope I am making it clear for you, the statement. Yes. आप कुछ पूछ रहे थे?
हाँ, तो मैं चूंकि कुंभ का रेफरेंस आया तो मैं एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना चाह रहा था कि अर्लियर इन दिस वीक मैंने 2 दिन पर्टिकुलरली, अच्छा 3 दिन मैंने थोड़ा सा अनुलोम विलोम ढंग से किया था. टू माय सरप्राइज मुझे ऐसा प्रतीत होता था पहले कि भाई इसको अपन ग्रेडेशन के हिसाब से करें, जैसे अपन करते आ रहे हैं. स्टेज 1 विदाउट होल्डिंग, स्टेज 2 1:1:2, फिर स्टेज 3, स्टेज 4. But surprisingly, the maximum comfort bodily which I had was in the ratio exactly prescribed by HP, which is 1:4:2. अब पता है क्योंकि अब मैं अनुभव बता दूं, जब फटाफट से करके और फटाफट से एक्सहेल करने में ऐसे हल्का सा एक टेंशन सा फील होता है कि भाई अभी इनहेल करना है, अभी एक्सहेल करना है, वो सहज नहीं होता. एटलीस्ट मैं अपनी फिजियोलॉजी के बारे में जो अनुभव बता रहा हूँ. वेयरएज जब अपन 1:2 यानी कि 8 करते हैं, देन इट बिकेम मोर कंफर्टेबल. और 4:16:8 में तो ब्रीदिंग आउट यानी एक्सलेशन में भी यानी कि रेचक में भी कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी, बल्कि इट वाज फीलिंग वेरी सहज, बिल्कुल कंफर्ट था.
So you want to say that in the problematic situation you were able to do
For
this?
me at least, this was a validation of the ratio. No, there is no problem. प्रॉब्लम कोई नहीं थी. मैं तो केवल एज अ प्रैक्टिस कर रहा था मैं, एंड दैट टू अबाउट 4 hours आफ्टर अ मील. रेगुलर प्रैक्टिस की बात कर रहा हूं मैं.
That I agree, because this is for a normal person who is a healthy person.
नहीं, can't hear you. Yes, करेक्ट, नहीं, आई एम ओनली सेइंग कि मेरी जो खुद का अपेक्षा थी वो ये थी कि शायद हो सकता है कि पहले स्टेजेस में ज्यादा कंफर्ट रहता है, बाद वाले स्टेजेस में यानी ग्रेटर होल्डिंग, ज्यादा कुंभक में हो सकता है कि फिजियोलॉजी को परेशानी हो। ऐसा अपने को ग्रेडेड अपन इसीलिए करते हैं कि वो पहले ट्रेन करें, फिर थोड़ा और ट्रेन करें, फिर थोड़ा और ट्रेन करें, फॉर वॉट एवर रीजन, आई डोंट नो। बट मेरा अनुभव ये था कि 1:4:2 वाला जो रेशियो था, 1 inhalation 4 holding and 2 exhalation was the most comfortable in regular practice. 4 hours, 4.5 hours after a meal, of course.
That is very true. But only one thing that we should be having in our mind clear, in case of complications, क्योंकि यहाँ हम थेरेपी की बात कर रहे हैं ना, तो ये कॉम्प्लिकेशंस को ध्यान में रखकर कभी हम इसे करने जाते हैं तो the level of understanding of the teacher becomes very important, or the therapist becomes very important, and that is where we may doing good as well as bad to the patient itself. So as I was telling you in the last class also, always yogic practices should be taught to a patient in connection with a doctor, whether allopathic, whether Ayurvedic, whether homeopathic, who is understanding the other side of the subject. And to this side, we are going ahead with our yoga therapy concept. So here, the things need to be properly given to. खाली ये टेक्स्ट पढ़ने से अगर कभी कोई प्रैक्टिस करने जाए तो उसको भारी पड़ जाए, कहने का मतलब ये। So these things we should be very clear to all of us. But what you said is very true. In fact, once you have done your proper preparatory practices along with asana, along with Shuddhi Kriya, then the ratio of 1:4:2 is never a problem. Never a problem. But only thing is, one should understand the training has to be gradual. It should be phase by phase. If the training is proper, an individual is never going to face the issue.
Yeah, and even here, I went stage by stage. So even that session, I would start with stage, the simple uninos. Then stage 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, no doubt went through this gradation, but the maximum comfort was obtained at the last stage, is what I want to, kind of share.
Agreed.
Also, is it okay to do, so let's say we do, 7-8 minutes or 6 minutes or 5 minutes of Anulom Vilom, and then we do one round of Kapalabhati, say 60 strokes, and then go back to Anulom Vilom. Is that a good alternation?
I will prefer Kapalbhati to be done earlier than Anulom Vilom.
हाँ, so earlier
Yes.
किया, लेकिन हमने फिर रन किया, फिर as a way of between 2 rounds of Anulom Vilom, is one short round of Kapalabhati is what I'm asking, or it's not advisable?
No, it is not advisable, ऐसा नहीं है, उसकी जरूरत ही नहीं है, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी आपने जो पहले जो प्रैक्टिस की, सी हमारा पर्पस क्या है प्रैक्टिस करने का। अगर आप बीच में करना चाहते हैं तो why are you preferring to do it in between? My question is that because
Simply because, yeah, please.
Because our textual knowledge says Shatkarma Nirgata Sthaulya Kafadosha Mala Adikaha प्राणायामम तत्क्रियात, उसके बाद में आपको प्राणायाम शुरू करना है। तो पहले षटकर्म का अभ्यास करो। अब आपने नाड़ी शुद्धि प्राणायाम करने के बाद में फिर से अगर कभी आप षटकर्म वाला जो अगर प्रैक्टिस करते हैं तो उससे कुछ होगा नहीं। But what is the purpose and reason behind that? Because we have clearly understood that you should be doing Shatkarma first to bring about a kind of balance in our 3 doshas. In the second chapter of this very text, Atta Pratipika, we have understood that first you have to do Shatkarma. And it clearly says, पूर्वम षट्कर्माणि समाचरेत् अन्यस्तु नाचरेत्तानि समभावत दोषाः। अगर आपके त्रिदोष बैलेंस हैं तो आपने शुद्धि क्रिया नहीं की तो भी चलेगा, लेकिन आज के डेट में तो ऐसा है नहीं। पहले आपको त्रिदोष को बैलेंस करना है, क्योंकि अगर कभी आपके त्रिदोष बैलेंस नहीं है and you are doing pranayam, he says there are certain symptoms that you will be experiencing because of the wrong practice that you are going ahead. तो पहले अगर आपने कपालभाति कर ली, उसके बाद में फिर आपने नाड़ी शुद्धि प्राणायाम किया, तो यू आर गोइंग इन वे। उसके बाद में कपालभाति फिर से करने की अगर आपको जरूरत लगती है और आप करते हैं तो बात अलग है। बट एट द सेम टाइम द सीक्वेंसिंग ऑफ कपालभाति अगेन आफ्टर नाड़ी शोधन और अनुलोम विलोम इज नॉट एसेंशियल। दैट्स व्हाट आई वांटेड टू से। वैसे सुनील भाई, अगर आप अच्छे अच्छे टीचरों को देख लें, क्योंकि हमने कई जगह पर पहले वो सीखने की बहुत उत्सुकता थी ना, तो कभी ये इंस्टीट्यूट, कभी वो इंस्टीट्यूट, कभी और कहीं चले गए तो और कोई इंस्टीट्यूट, तो सब जगह पे एक्सपीरियंस किया और कई प्रश्न आए कि ऐसे क्यों, तो उनके पास कोई जवाब नहीं था, क्योंकि वो इसी तरह से प्रैक्टिस कर रहे थे। उनके मन में आया तो किसी को कहीं डाल दिया, मन में आया तो किसी को कहीं डाल दिया। तो हमने पूछा ऐसे क्यों, उन्होंने बोला बस ऐसे ही। बस ऐसे ही तो नहीं चलेगा। अगर टेक्स्ट बुक में कुछ बताया है तो उसके पीछे तो हमारे योगियों की साधना है, लेकिन आप जो बता रहे हैं उसके पीछे क्या राज है आपको पता होना चाहिए। इज देयर एनी साइंटिफिक स्टडी डन, आर देयर एनी रिसर्चेस अबाउट इट? हाँ, one thing is very clear, there are researchers which say that शुद्धि क्रिया is essential. हाइपोथेसिस ही ऐसा बना हुआ है, the essentiality of शुद्धि क्रिया before प्राणायाम। तो ऐसे आपको रिसर्च स्टडीज मिलेंगे कि हमको प्राणायाम करने से पहले शुद्धि क्रिया करना कितना जरूरी है। बट देयर इज नो सच स्टडी वेयर यू कैन डू इट एनी। कई बार हमने ये देखा कि सेशन की शुरुआत है, जैसे कि मॉर्निंग में हम सेशन करते हैं, तो कुछ स्कूलों में हमने ऐसे देखा कि दे मेक द स्टूडेंट टू गो थ्रू प्रैक्टिस ऑफ प्राणायाम फर्स्ट। तो इवन आई प्रैक्टिस प्राणायाम एंड आई फेल्ट गुड आल्सो। I later asked, what is the reason that you have taken pranayam first and then asan later? तो बोले सर हम स्टूडेंट को पहले बुला के जो है शांत कर देते हैं और फिर उस शांत अवस्था में उनसे आसन कराते हैं। तो मैं बोले फिर आसन करने से उनकी अवस्था कैसे होती है? आप एक्टिव हो जाते हैं। तो आप शांत करने के लिए योग करा रहे हैं या फिर नहीं? वो तो नॉर्मल कॉमन पीपल है ना, तो उनको एक्टिव होना चाहिए, उनको डायनामिक होना चाहिए। मैं बोला ये फिर योग नहीं हुआ, ये भोग को भोगने के लिए योग हो गया। हमको योग करना है योग के साथ जुड़ने के लिए। तो जो स्टेप्स बताए गए हैं दोस आर वेरी क्लियर, और किताबों में स्पष्ट रूप में लिखा हुआ है कि पहले आसन, और आसन का अभ्यास कई सालों तक, उसके बाद में प्राणायाम का इंटरवेंशन होता है, एंड देन वी गो अहेड विद द प्रैक्टिस ऑफ प्राणायाम। So this has to be very clearly understood and practiced. Okay, we will go ahead to the next. After understanding that the diseases like asthma, which are caused by the disturbance of the kapha and pitta, such kind of observations of breathing techniques will help us. Next shloka, the 16th one says, Bhuktva पायससं च उष्ण क्षीरं व अपि घृतप्लूतं वारुणी धारणं कृत्वा कुर्यात् सर्वांग यंत्रणम। अभी वारुणी धारणा, वारुणी धारणा के हमारे हठयोगिक टेक्स्ट में दो स्पॉट्स आते हैं। एक तो घेरंड संहिता में वारुणी का स्थान जो है ब्लैडर को बताया गया है, is in the pelvic region, or we have to focus in that region to do that varuni dharana। और एक टेक्स्ट है जिसके अंदर वारुणी धारणा इज सेट टू बी द थ्रोट रीजन, तो कंफ्यूजन हो जाता है। बट एट द सेम टाइम यहां पर जो है, आफ्टर ईटिंग वार्म फूड भुक्त्वा पायससम च उष्ण, द योगीज शुड ईट वार्म फूड prepared in milk, क्षीरम व अपि घृत प्लूतम, और वन शुड ड्रिंक मिल्क विथ घी इन इट। अब ये बहुत फायदेमंद है। मैंने कई बार आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टरों को भी, जब मैं कॉन्स्टिपेशन से पीड़ित था, तो हमारे डॉक्टर साहब ने कहा कि आप रात को सोने से पहले जो आप गर्म दूध पीते हैं, उसके अंदर आप एक छोटा चम्मच घी डाल दीजिए। आपके शरीर के अंदर ड्राइनेस बहुत है, आपके शरीर के अंदर हाइड्रेशन की कमी है, और कहीं ना कहीं आपका शरीर रुक्ष ड्राई होता जा रहा है। तो ये एक वजह है आपके कॉन्स्टिपेशन के पीछे। तो आपको इसको थोड़ा सा जो है दूध के अंदर घी डाल के पीने से आपका वो जो प्रॉब्लम जो है कॉन्स्टिपेशन का, वो ठीक हो जाएगा। तो आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग दिस। द रिजल्ट वाज नॉट विद इन अ मंथ और 2, बट आफ्टर सम टाइम मुझे तो आदत हो गई दूध के अंदर, गर्म दूध के अंदर घी 1 चम्मच डाल के पीने की। लेकिन एक समय ऐसा भी आया कि आई नेवर एक्सपीरियंस कॉन्स्टिपेशन आफ्टर दैट। My constipation was one of the reason for my high BP, and I started experiencing normal BP also. So एक छोटा सा चेंज इतना फर्क ला सकता है, पूरे वायु के चलन के अंदर ही वो सुधार ले आता है। तो यहाँ पर वो बता रहे हैं कि the yogis should eat warm food prepared in milk or drink milk with ghee in it and then perform varuni dharana. Varuni dharana, and thus restrain the activity of all the organs. Now, Varuni Dharana is a practice of concentration. It is that part of the body which is supposed to be the seat of Apa Mahabhuta. That Apa Mahabhuta, the water element, is said to be the throat region. But if you see Gheranya Samhita, वारुणी धारणा के लिए हमें ब्लैडर के ऊपर ध्यान देने के लिए कहा है। अब यहां पर डिफरेंस कैसे ला सकते हैं? ये वारुणी धारणा जो है, इट कम्स अंडर द प्रैक्टिस ऑफ पंच धारणा। अब पंच धारणा की प्रैक्टिस क्या है? अधो धारणा, अंबसी धारणा, दैट इज वारुणी धारणा, देन वैश्वनारी धारणा, देन वायावी धारणा, एंड आफ्टर दैट एट लास्ट नभो धारणा। इसको हम कहते हैं पंच धारणा, जो हम गैरण्य संहिता में पढ़ेंगे। वहां पर वारुणी धारणा या अंबसी धारणा के लिए स्थान बताया गया ब्लैडर रीजन, बट हियर इन द एक्सप्लेनेशन ऑफ कैवल्यधाम's note, it is said to be the throat region. So this is to be clarified, because this is going to help us to get along with the problems related to the chest, dissipated vayu in the chest, the phlegmatic region, or the problems caused because of the in the pitta region, pitta disturbances, because of that vata pitta, because of that vata kapha. तो यहां पर इन्होंने खुराक के साथ में एक इलाज बताया, और ये हेल्पफुल है। ये समझ में आती है बात कि भाई हाँ, कि हमको घी का सेवन करना चाहिए। और कई बार लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि घी से शरीर के अंदर फैट बढ़ता है, ये मिसकंसेप्शन है। The ghee which is talked about in our literature is the understanding of Agni. अग्नि तत्व का स्वरूप है द घृत, उसमें हीट ज्यादा होती है। तो उससे आपके शरीर में फैट होगा नहीं। फैट कब होगा? जब आपका वो घी के अंदर मैनिपुलेशन हो जाता है। इफ इट इज प्रिपेयर्ड फ्रॉम द अदर टाइप ऑफ मिल्क रादर देन द काउज मिल्क, then it contains lot of fat content. तो वहां से थोड़ा जो कोर्स है वो चेंज हो जाता है। तो इट जैसे कि अगर कभी बफेलो का मिल्क ले लिया जाए तो उसमें क्रीम ज्यादा मिलेगा, फैटी कंटेंट उसमें ज्यादा मिलेगा, बट एट द सेम टाइम अगर कभी आप काऊ का मिल्क देखें तो उसमें ये कंटेंट कम हो जाते हैं. तो हियर understanding should be very clearly with cow's ghee, not the other ghee prepared from the other milk. So I hope this is also clear to you.
Also, Sabir bhai, there are two ways of preparing ghee. The correct
Yes.
and traditional way is कि भाई दूध से मक्खन, मक्खन से घी. तो वो घी की प्रॉपर्टीज अलग होती हैं. एंड ये जो अपन डायरेक्टली क्रीम से घी बनाते हैं, आई एम नॉट श्योर इट्स स्ट्रिक्टली घी. Dr. Bide will tell us in due course in the Ayurveda sessions the difference
Even
between
I
the
have
properties of
heard
these two.
that there are procedures that directly from milk the process of ghee starts. I don't know how it happens, but that is a मतलब directly उसको दही बनाते भी हैं या नहीं, डायरेक्टली घी का सोर्स बन जाता है वो. तो
हमारे
I
घर
have
में
just heard it. I don't know
हाँ.
about the process.
सिंपल, वो मलाई क्या है, निकाल के रख लेते हैं, फ्रीजर में रख लेते हैं, फिर एक दिन पूरा वो निकाला, उसको गैस पे चढ़ा दिया और कि वो सॉलिड कलर हो जाते हैं, ब्राउन कलर के, और घी बच जाता है.
So that is not the right process actually. क्योंकि जो
But
हम
it's
छाछ
not the
बनाकर जो मक्खन निकालते हैं,
traditional. हाँ
हाँ, और
जी.
मक्खन को जो हीट करके जो घी बनाया जाता है, that is the traditional method. So
बिल्कुल,
we have to understand that
मक्खन को
also.
मत के.
Yeah.
करेक्ट करेक्ट.
Also, Sabir bhai, you said ghee and milk. What time? At night or in the morning?
In the night,
In the
milk is not supposed to be had in the morning, friend, madam.
night. Correct. Correct.
Milk is said to be drank only in the night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the night before sleep, I am still having that habit. एक कप दूध होता है जिसमें 100 ml से लेके 150 ml तक दूध होता है. उसमें थोड़ी सी हल्दी डली हुई होती है और एक आधा चम्मच से 1 चम्मच उसमें घी होता है. So that is helping me a lot.
Yeah.
In fact कुछ लोग का ये भी कहना है कि तुमको एसिडिटी हो जाएगी उससे, लेकिन मुझे कभी कुछ नहीं हुआ. In fact, I am feeling very healthy out of it, and my pitta problems have also been taken care of. So Dr. Bhide will be able to make us understand it much more better because he is authority on it. We don't know what is the principles behind that, but at the same time, these are the things which have been advocated by our yogis also. Okay, this is how we should be keeping our approach. Yes,
So,
sir.
but Varuni Dharana, as you said, it is part of Pancha Dharana. But Varuni Dharana means we have to hold it in your throat.
No.
Milk?
Dharana is just focusing. See,
Oh.
this region is said to be the region of water element. So you have to just allow your mind to become focused on this region of water element. That becomes Varuni Dharana.
And it is along with the milk with ghee.
Yes.
That is the first
It's-
line says that.
But it is not like this. Okay, you should be drinking the milk with the ghee and then performing Varuni Dharana. It is not to be connected that way. It is very clear that one should have food which is having ample amount of ghee or milk. One thing is that means in your eating, in your diet, you should employ these principles. And when you are doing yogic practices, you are supposed to do the practice of Varuni Dharana at that time. The clarity is like that.
Sarvanga Yantranam. Kuryat Sarvanga Yantranam. So what is Sarvanga Yantranam?
Sarvanga Yantranam. Here, the understanding is coming as we are managing the body parts. Sarva Anga Yantra. So, which are the vital parts in your body? Take it your heart, take it to be your lungs, take it to be your liver, maybe the digestive tract. So different, or your kidneys itself. See, a very beautiful understanding. हम खाना खा लेते हैं, पानी पी लेते हैं. The waste product is taken to the excretory system. But the waste product is taken to the excretory system when it is decided that what is not to be had by the body is to be taken towards the excretory system. Imagine drinking water, and after drinking water, excessive water, if you feel like urinating, do you think that directly from the digestive system it has gone to urination? The water from the digestive system comes into our blood circulation. From blood circulation, it gets filtration through the kidneys. From filtration through the kidneys, it goes to the bladder, and from bladder we urinate it out through our urethra. Just imagine the process of water coming in our blood circulation first. और यही पानी अगर आप इसका डेंसिटी इंक्रीज कर देते हो, उसमें सॉल्ट ऐड कर देते हो, उसको थोड़ा सा गर्म करते हो, बॉडी के अंदर एब्जॉर्ब नहीं कराते हो, तो इंस्टेड ऑफ गोइंग टू द ब्लड इट डायरेक्टली डिसेंड्स इनटू द लार्ज इंटेस्टाइन एंड यू कैन इवैक्यूएट इट थ्रू द रेक्टम. आर यू गेटिंग इट? आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग इट? तो ये जो सर्वांग यंत्रणम की जो बात की गई है, this is related to the physiology of the body, how it affects our body and how it takes care. अभी आप बोलेंगे कि मैंने तो जो गोली खाई पेन किलर की वो तो मेरे स्टमक में गई, लेकिन मुझे दर्द तो सर में है, वो गोली इधर जाना चाहिए ना, इधर कैसे गई? लेकिन जब वो गोली यहाँ गई तो वहां पर डाइजेस्ट हुई, वहां पर डाइजेस्ट होने के बाद में वो ब्लड सर्कुलेशन में आई, ब्लड सर्कुलेशन में आने के बाद में उसके जो गुण हैं वो हमारे सर की तरफ पहुंचे और सरदर्द को कम किया. तो हियर द ईटिंग ऑफ द फूड और द ईटिंग ऑफ द घी along with the milk, drinking of the same, it is brought about the changes in the various parts of the body. It should be taken it that way. Is that clear, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, Ashutosh sir, thank you very much. I never had focused on this aspect before. Today, because of your questioning, I could focus on it. तो ये कहते हैं ना कि when you teach, you learn more.
Yeah.
So I am that student where I am learning more by being in between you people when I am sharing my knowledge. So this is the beauty of keeping on. अब मैंने कई बार ये हठा प्रतिदिका पढ़ाई होगी, लेकिन ये कभी मेरे दिमाग में नहीं आया, लेकिन आज आपके छोटे से प्रश्न ने ये क्लैरिटी कर दी. So that's where we are going ahead with that. Next. अधेद अंदु प्रतिमं च कुंद धवलम कंठेम्बु तत्वं स्थितम यत पीयूष वकार बीज सहितम युक्तम सदा विष्णुना प्राणम तत्र विनीय पंच घटिका चित्तान्वित्तम धारयेद देशा दूर्वह कालकूट जरण स्याद वारिणी धारणा. Now here he is making it clear. It is the throat, kunda dhavalam, in the throat, the water element looking like a crescent moon, adhed bindu pratitam, and white as kunda dhavalam, in the throat. It is an element which is filled with the nectar and is characterized by वकार. अब वकार का जो मंत्र है, अब आप गौर से सुनिए. वकार जो है, इट इज द बीज अक्षर ऑफ स्वादिष्ठान चक्र, एंड स्वादिष्ठान चक्र इज इन द जेनाइटल रीजन टुवर्ड्स द स्पाइन. अब हम बात कर रहे हैं थ्रोट की और वकार बीज की बात की जा रही है, क्योंकि जो आपका मूलाधार है उसका बीज अक्षर है लम, स्वादिष्ठान का है वम, और उसके ऊपर जो है मणिपुर चक्र उसका बीज अक्षर है रम, अनाहत चक्र का यम, ये थ्रोट रीजन का है हम, और ये आज्ञा चक्र का जो है वो है शम, एंड ओम इज रिलेटेड टू दी सहस्त्रार. अब यहां पर बीज अक्षर वम बताया जा रहा है, वकार, बट एट द सेम टाइम बात की जा रही है थ्रोट रीजन की. तो ये जरा कंसेप्ट इनका अलग है, और ऐसे डिफरेंसेस आपको घट प्रतिपिका के कई टेक्स्ट में आपको मिलेंगे। अगर आप घेरंड संहिता पढ़ेंगे तो वहां पर कंसेप्ट थोड़ा अलग तरीके से, और दूसरी जगह पढ़ेंगे तो दूसरी जगह पर आपको अलग तरीके से मिलेगा। तो ये कंफ्यूजन थोड़ा सा होता है, एंड वी हैव टू टेक इट एज इट इज एंड ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट सूट्स अस बेटर, वी गो अहेड विद दैट। सो प्रैक्टिस इज प्रैक्टिस। तो कभी आप कहेंगे साबिर भाई लेकिन ऐसा कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया तो? गड़बड़ तो नहीं होगा। One thing is very clear, there won't be any complications as such, because these are the practice which are done with concentration. You are not doing something unnatural intervention trying to change the course of the vayu or the functioning of the organ. No, you are doing something which is just going to make you focus in that region and bring about the change in the functioning of that body parts, or you can say bringing about the changes in the physiology of those organs. तो ये बात यहाँ पर इस तरह से क्लियर की जा रही है। The water element looking like a crescent moon and white as kunda in the throat, element which is filled with the nectar and is characterized by vakar and is associated always with Vishnu. One should hold the prana accompanied by the mind for 5 घटिकास। ये जो पंच घटिका है, इट इज लाइक 2 hours। 2 hours में कितने हो गए? 120 मिनट्स। अगर 120 मिनट्स को आप 5 से डिवाइड करेंगे तो इट इज 24 मिनट्स फॉर 1 घटिका। अब ये कह रहे हैं कि ये वारुणी धारणा पंच घटिका। तो यू जस्ट इमेजिन फॉर कंप्लीट 2 hours you are supposed to maintain that. In fact, अगर आप घेरंड संहिता ले लें तो घेरंड संहिता में भी पंच धारणा का जो डिस्क्रिप्शन किया हुआ है, इट इज इन द 3rd chapter ओनली ऑफ मुद्रास। पंच धारणा का एक्सप्लेनेशन वहां पर है। वो पंच धारणा के एक्सप्लेनेशन में हर एक धारणा के लिए उन्होंने कहा कि आपको 2 घंटे तक यानी पंच घटिका तक आपको ये रिटेन करना है, ये फोकसिंग करना है, फोकसिंग रिटेन करना है, ब्रेथ रिटेन नहीं करना है। So here he says one should hold the prana accompanied by the mind for 5 घटिकास in this region. हाँ, hold करना है। It is the holding of the prana. So earlier statement of mine was wrong. Here it is clearly said that you have to not only concentrate, but you have to hold the breath for 2 hours. And then the dharana on the water element enables us to digest the worst poisons. Now the worst poisons can be taken by all means, maybe because of physical expressions, mental expressions, or the physiological expressions. Anything which is creating a poisonous state in the body is going to be taken care of with this practice of Varuni Dharana. So somewhat here the technique of Varuni Dharana has been explained, but it is to be focused at the throat region and to be done in that way as explained by Swatma Ramji.
So,
Yes, sir.
and what do we do with the crescent moon? Should we hold that image also in the throat?
It is a symbolization. हाँ, crescent moon is a symbol. देखिए, now this is where the dharana comes in. When we are talking about dharana in a proper space, जैसे कि योग सूत्र में इसको डिफाइन किया गया है, देशबंध चित्तस्य धारणा। तो देशबंध in that confinement of a particular space, all these things should be kept in the mind. The crescent moon, the vakara bija, the water element, all these things should be kept in our mind and the focusing should be done. तो आप बोलेंगे सर किसी एक चीज पे फोकस किया जा सकता है। कई चीजों से जब आप एक चीज पर आ जाते हैं उसी को हम ध्यान कहते हैं। तो यार धारणा मीन्स कीपिंग ऑल द थिंग्स इन द माइंड, यू आर जस्ट allowing your mind to be focused in that region. In fact, if you focus on the functioning of your heart, you will find that your functioning of the heart is becoming better and better. So what is that focusing on the functioning of the heart? You are imagining, I am inhaling, taking oxygen to the lungs, From the lungs through the pulmonary veins, it is going to the heart. From the heart, the oxygen through the arteries reaching to all the parts of our body or cells, each and every cell of our body. And from the all parts of our body, the deoxygenated blood is collected by the venous system or the veins and brought through the inferior vena cava or superior vena cava into that right side of our heart, which is again pumped to the lungs to get oxygenated. अभी मैंने एक साइकिल बताया आपको कि किस तरह से लंग से ऑक्सीजन हार्ट के थ्रू होकर एक एक सेल की तरफ जाता है और वही एक एक सेल से वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट या फिर आप डीऑक्सीजनेटेड यानी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड मटेरियल को लेकर जब आप फिर से हार्ट की तरफ पहुंचते हो और वो किस तरह से एक्सपेल कर दिया जाता है. अगर आप ये फिजियोलॉजी पर भी अगर कभी खाली आपने मन को लगाकर अगर कभी आपने फोकस किया, लेट मी टेल यू फ्रेंड्स, द फंक्शनिंग ऑफ द हार्ट इज गोइंग टू बी ब्रिलियंट. You will find even the greasy material in the flow of the blood will get more and more smooth, and you will never find any kind of hardening of the blocking of the flow of the arteries, whether it is coronary arteries or whether it is other arteries. अगर रैंडमली अगर कभी हम 6-7 जन का अगर कभी एंजियोग्राफी कराएंगे तो 6-7 में से 2-3 तो पक्के निकलेंगे जिसका 50 से 60% तक ब्लॉकेज पक्का मिलेगा आपको. But still the body is functioning because there are various other bypasses and passages through which the body is taking care of itself. So this thing is going on as it is. So here also, the functioning of heart was an example. Here also, focusing on this region of the water element, which is known as Varuni Dharana. So it is going to bring about the changes of the functioning of the water in the phlegmatic region. And that is our chest. So that is going to help us to become healthier with our lungs, with our heart and all. I hope this is getting clear now.
Yeah, but sir, since it is mentioned here, it must be true. And whoever has done this, I mean, Gorakshanath ji must have done a marvelous and wonderful experimentation with himself. And it is,
Yes,
we don't know which is the mind and which is the body in this.
इसलिए ना, it becomes very important for us to do the deciphering of these shlokas. And only a scholar can do this, sir. People like you who can understand the meaning of the shlokas, better enter into it, the context and the practice and the intention. All these things should be brought into that minute points so that the meaning can be brought out. I am not a Sanskrit scholar. ये 8-10 साल से संस्कृत के श्लोक बोल बोल के आज मुझे ये थोड़ा बहुत बोलने आ जाता है. तो कहीं ना कहीं the person who is scholar in the practice as well as in the literature can do justice to this subject and can go ahead. So as you said, it is very true.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, as you were saying, you know, that a particular akshar is associated with particular chakra. So really speaking, I mean, it's such a marvelous thing that we don't know which is the mind and which is the body. Both are one and the same in this way of looking at oneself. Yeah.
So this is how it is. Anyways, we are going ahead. Evam kushtadayo rogaha pranashyanti na samshayah netre nimilya purvita timiradi pranashyati. Timir adi pranashyati. So evam kushtadayo, kushtaroga means the diseases of the skin. Now here kushtaroga should not be literally taken as leprosy, because in Sanskrit kushtaroga means the problems related to skin. There is no doubt that in this manner ailments like leprosy, that is skin disease, are cured. If this Varuni Dharana is practiced with closed eyes. Netre nimilya kurvita. It destroys Timir Adi, the disease of eye, that is partial blindness, and it is taken care of. अगर partial blindness तक की बात की जा रही है, तो एटलीस्ट साबिर भाई के लेंसेस तो कम हो सकते हैं. साबिर भाई को प्रैक्टिस करना चाहिए रेगुलरली. So this is how we have to take it and then go ahead with the practice. वेपथुर्वात रक्तम च योगिनो जायते यदा यत्र यत्र रुजा बाधा तत्र वायु vichintayet. Now this is what I always tell you people. When you find there is a problem in any region, just do simple breathing by keeping that region of the body in your mind and just allow the breathing to happen in a very peaceful manner, what we call as prana dharana. So here he says, Vepetha urvat raktam cha yogino jayate yada. When the diseases like tremors, infection in the blood, etc., attack a yogi or attacks a individual, that person should concentrate consciously where there is the obstruction. जहां पर भी इसको ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन, भले कमर में हो, ग्रॉइन में हो, घुटनों में हो, गले में हो, सीने में हो, कंधों में हो, जहां पर भी उसको ऐसा लगता है कि the functioning is not efficient as it was earlier of this region, so you just take your mind to that region and focus on it. It says this obstruction which is causing the problem, the care will be taken over there. So the yogi should meditate on Vayu on that spot. It's very clear. Tatra Vayu vichintayet. So there you have to allow your mind to become focused. Many a times I have, literally made it clear to my students also. एक इंसान आ गया and he was going on talking, not even letting me to ask him, hey, who are you? What is your name? और उसने आके बैठा और वो शुरू हो गया. So the best thing which I was doing was listening there to him, quietly sitting in front of him. And after listening to him for a while, he himself says, आप तो खाली बैठ के सुन रहे हैं, आप कुछ बोलते ही नहीं. तो फिर मैंने कहा, हाँ चलो ठीक है, अब आपने मौका दे दिया तो मैं बोलता हूं, लेकिन आपने मुझे मौका ही नहीं दिया बोलने का. तो बोले, अरे हाँ, मुझे ये समझ में ही नहीं आया, मैं आया बैठा और शुरू हो गया. तो मैंने कहा, अब आप तक तो आप शुरू थे ना, अब आप सहम जाओ, बी सीटेड हियर एंड डू नथिंग. तो बोले क्या करूं? बस शांति से बैठे रहो, खाली शांति से बैठे रहो, इससे क्या होगा? मैं बोला, जितना आपने अभी आधा घंटा मेरे सामने जो बड़बड़ किया वो नहीं होगा, पहले ऐसा शांत बैठो. So that made him realize that what is the importance of just remaining silent. And then I told him every day he is supposed to practice silence and focus on his speech or focus on his emotions, focus on his other aspects of his to let it out and just make it simple by observing it and by being focused on the breathing. So आप यकीन नहीं मानेंगे, within a month or two, he was so organized, his anxiety level just dropped down just by observing the breaths and remaining speechless, observing silence. So silence is that medicine. Here I would like to stop. When we continue in the